Good evening and welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another great episode of the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know the J Lounge is a celebrity based podcast show where we talk with actors, directors, singers, you name it. I am very excited to be introducing my next guest. She is a rising singer songwriter, writing songs for those who feel too hard or fall too soon. I can totally relate to that. I am super excited for her to be speaking about her music, her passions. Everyone, please give a super warm welcome to Elle Indigo. Hi, Elle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, yeah. It's a nice day out. We got different time zones, so I still have some sun over here.
No, I appreciate you for giving me your time today. I know you're a busy woman. I cannot wait to introduce you to my audience. And yes, I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
you for
you.
being on today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get this interview started. I'm going to fire the first question at you. What began your
Alrighty.
passion for music and singing?
Oh, what began the passion?
Yes.
Yeah, I started singing when I was 10. My parents, enrolled me in piano lessons as parents do. So I grew up in like a very musical family. My dad always loved me. There's like not a day that there wasn't music playing. Um, in the house, either somebody practicing or, CD playing or something. And so I started music lessons pretty young. And so piano was kind of my not choice instrument, and singing was. And I've just always loved it. I kind of took a break from lessons after college and wasn't really practicing as much or singing as much. But I realized one day just like how much joy it brought because I was trying to figure out like what are the things that I really loved. I have so many hobbies and crafts, but I was like, well, these are fun, they're nice, but like, it's not this like massive feeling of joy that I get from singing.
Right, right. And I'm glad you found your passion. And like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of relate. I was kind of right there, with you. I had so many hobbies, so many different passions. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard when you have that much creativity and you're just really finding the best way to let it all out. It's just really difficult. So, super glad you were able to find your passion. Going on to the next question, can you
Mm-hmm.
name three people who influenced your career and why?
Yeah. I always like I have a difficulty with questions around like who's your favorite, who's this, because like it just I feel like it always changes.
Yeah.
But growing up, and I mean still today, Sarah Brightman's one of my favorite singers, and I love how she infuses like pop and opera and sometimes some rock and folk as well. So she's got a lot of variety in her songs, and she just has like the most angelic voice. So I always love listening to her and was really inspired by her growing up. Who else has been a big inspiration? Uh, she was my biggest growing up. Like we listened to the Beatles a lot, which was great. Love the Beatles, but I don't know that I would like call them a personal inspiration.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's funny. I can't think of like anybody else growing up that was like so much in my memory. Because I was always kind of just like listening to whatever I felt like at the moment. And that's kind of like what I do now. So let's see if I can think of just two others that are inspiring me now. I haven't listened to all of Teddy Swims' story, but I've listened to a little bit, and I did find that pretty inspiring. Just all the hard work that he's gone through. Other artists I'm really listening to right now. I
I
love
know
Renee
there's so
Rapp
many,
her
it's so
sound. Yeah,
difficult.
I'm like, I'm so. How do I narrow it down? I don't know. I love Renee Rapp's sound, and I really like she has some really good wordplay. Actually, Fallout Boy is somebody who
Ooh,
their wordplay really
yes.
inspires me. Now that I come to think of it, yeah, I love the
Yes.
way they weave words and how they like in like a couple albums later like are referencing something earlier, and I think it's really fun to do that in a body of work. Like I'm not far along enough to do that now. I just don't have enough songs, but I love that idea.
Yeah. I love how you have a different range of artists. You have Renee Rapp, Fallout Boy. Did I hear Teddy Swims?
Yeah, Teddy Swims, yeah.
Yes. I love Teddy Swims. Love. Love his voice.
Oh
It
my gosh,
just
yes.
yes. I'm right with you. Yes. Don't get me started. I can spend the entire time talking about Teddy Swift. So I really can. But I just love how that you have different range of different artists.
Yeah.
So I think that's you're a music lover, so it happens. You
Yeah.
know, you yeah. I'm a music lover too, so I'm a huge fan of Fall Out Boy. To me, their best cover song is, of course, "Beat It" by Michael Jackson. To me, that's
Mm.
one. Yes, if you haven't listened to that,
I'm not sure if I have. I'll have to, yeah.
oh, you have to. You have to. They did probably one of the best cover songs for that
Wow.
song I've
Yeah.
ever heard. So, yeah, I love the choice. I'm loving the choices. Going on to the next question, can you describe your sound?
My sound? Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I think I am still kind of finding that, and that's kind of the benefit and the curse of like just starting out because it's like feels a little bit difficult to describe and it feels like it's a little bit elusive. Um, but the benefit is that, I get to play around a little bit. So I would describe what I've been doing right now as kind of pop R&B indie with like a very small tinge of like an opera sound in one of my songs. It's not super prominent, and I'm not sure if I'm going to hold on to that or like what we're going to do with that just yet. Um, but I would say those are my main sounds right now. We have done a little bit of jazz, and
Yes.
yeah, I like the jazzy sound. I don't know that it's going to be like a forefront sound though, but something I
Right.
do enjoy doing here and there.
See, you have a range of sound. I heard R&B, I
Mm-hmm.
heard indie, I heard a little bit of jazz. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that you're just blending different genres because as an artist, that's what you should be able to do. You
Oh
shouldn't
yeah.
have to pick a lane. You should be able to blend each genre and still keep your unique sound that makes you you. So I love it. I love it. Going on, you're welcome. Going on to the next question. This is going to be a real thinker now.
Okay.
So, for first time listeners of your music,
Mm-hmm.
what song would you suggest they listen to really understand you as an artist?
Ooh. Hmm.
Yeah, I told you it's going to be a thinker now.
Yeah. I feel like
Mm-hmm. Whichever song comes to mind.
yeah, it's like Won't You Hear Me is such like an anthem song for me, but it doesn't really represent like the rest of the work that I'm working on at the moment as well. So I would say that Sometimes I Hurt Myself is probably a little bit more of a good vibe for like some of the stuff that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That would give like a good feel. Although I do have some more upbeat stuff coming out soon. It's just not out yet, so
Well, as artists, you feel all the feelings, and
yeah.
the biggest feelings is going to be sadness because it's just some artists find their best work in that state. So
Oh
um,
yeah, and I love a good juxtaposition. So I wouldn't say that there's like a happy song coming out soon, but we got the more not as upbeat lyrics, but with the upbeat music.
no, I get you. I get you. Like pumped up kicks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. You hear that upbeat song, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a great start of the day song. And you hear the
yeah.
lyrics, you're just like, wait, what? So
But
yeah, I love it. I like those types of songs. They hold surprises. They hold surprises.
I feel
So
like Birds of a Feather is kind of like that too. It's a really pretty,
ooh,
song, and
yes.
then you're like, wait a minute, this is maybe not as happy it kind of sounds like. So
You're just like,
yeah,
wait a minute. Yeah. I really have to give it to the artists that can just, get that sad message across while still keeping it upbeat because it's
yeah,
such a crazy as you said juxtaposition. You're listening to it, you're just like, wait, I thought this was going to be a good start of the day, so what's going
yeah.
on? I love it. I love it. All right, going on to the next question. Elle, I want to make sure my audience follows you, your work, your music.
Sure.
Where are you on social media and music
Yeah.
platforms?
Instagram, Facebook, and Threads are my big three, and I'm still trying to kind of get a little bit more consistent with the other the other platforms.
Hmm.
But on all the platforms, on most of the platforms, it's ellindigo.singer. A couple are just Elle Indigo. But yeah, mostly ellindigo.singer. I know that Threads, Instagram, and Facebook are all that. Um, and yeah, I think I'm on all the streaming platforms. I mean, all the major ones and some not so major ones, and I'm sure there's probably more outside of that list. But all the big ones.
No, I get you, Elle. The hustle never stops. The hustle
Yeah.
never stops. No, girl, I feel you 100%. You have a kindred spirit here, I assure you. And I highly encourage my audience, make sure you follow Elle Indigo on Threads, on it's Twitter over here. I refuse to say X. I refuse to say X. I'm
Yeah.
just one of those. On all music platforms as well. We want to see and hear more of her work, so make sure you give a like, give a stream, give a shout out, follow, support, listen to the music. We want to see more of Elle, especially in 2026. So make sure we're
Thank
going
you.
out there and doing so. And as she stated before, If I Could Hurt Myself is a good beginning song to really understand her as an artist. So make sure you stream that as well.
Yeah. It's sometimes I hurt myself.
Sometimes I hurt myself.
Yeah. It's
I
okay. No
apologize.
worries.
Sometimes I hurt myself. Yes. So
Yeah.
make sure you guys hear that and to really get who she is as an artist. So make sure we stream that as well. Going on to the next question, Elle.
Hmm.
What future projects are you currently working on that you can just give just a tiny little dish about to my audience?
Yeah. So my first full length album is roughly slated for release in August. Allowing for potential production delays and whatnot because it's just me and my partner working on it at the moment. So, we're trying to keep on track as much as possible. But looking forward to that coming out then. And in the meantime, I'll be releasing a couple of singles for that album, and it's called "Can't Stop Myself." And we just did some fun photos for it the other day that I gotta go edit.
Alrighty, okay. We'll make sure, of course, you hear, keep the people here and me at the J Lounge here posted on that because, of course, we want
Yeah,
to hear
absolutely.
and definitely keep up with more of your work and definitely will get the message out to my audience as well, who I'm sure will keep up with your work going forward
Thank
as well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm
Going on.
excited. It's a oh sorry. I was gonna
Yes,
say yeah,
no,
it's
you're
a
good.
nine. I believe it's nine songs total that are coming. Yeah, three more,
Ooh,
and so we have three singles, three more singles, and then the album will come out with everything all at once,
yes.
collated together.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited to hear the singles. It's going to be your year. It
Thank
is
you.
going to be your year. We are speaking it into existence.
Yes.
Things happen on my podcast show when you speak into existence. So it's going to be your year. That's it. That's for sure. Hands down. Going on to the next question. What goals do you hope to accomplish in your career that you haven't yet?
mm. Um. Definitely getting onto some bigger stages. I mostly perform covers on stage right now for gigs. And once I have the full album, I'll be able to actually do a full length, full length solo show, or with my accompanist, either way. But yeah, pushing myself to do bigger stage. Well, getting the opportunity to do bigger stages, and then pushing myself past that comfort zone as well. So we're doing pretty small, bars and restaurants, and we have a couple of small music venues here. Nothing. Well, okay, we do have an arena, but that's for like the really big name people. So none of the local bands are really there. Um, but yeah, so just kind of pushing myself outside of the area, finding other locations to perform at, and yeah, working. It's like I have been working on the stage, right? Because I can go out there and do gigs now, but every new location, and especially the larger the audience there is, it's still definitely like a new challenge. It's a new but similar challenge at the same time. So
Absolutely. You're building up to it too. I mean, you can't playing on the small bars and in restaurants is just as meaningful because you're building
mm-hmm.
your self confident. to do the big stage.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
when you do the big stage, we're talking about, not to of course freak you out, but we're talking about, tens, 20,000 people. So you got to have, you know, the confidence because, oh,
Yeah.
that scares me. Just having that many people look at that
Yeah.
scares me.
Yeah.
That's because I have anxiety. So, but
So,
that's just, yeah. But yes, I would definitely love to see you over here in Seattle one day.
oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
we
Seattle's
have
beautiful.
plenty of different, venues that you can play at, and that would be really cool to be able to, tell people, hey, definitely go to see this artist. She was on my podcast, and yeah, we would definitely love to support you over here in Seattle.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I
Speaking
love.
to
I
exist.
grew up in NorCal, so I made it up that way once or twice in my younger years.
Yeah, in my younger years, we're still you better stop that. In my younger years, we're still, oh my
Oh.
gosh, I don't think we're too far off the same age. Tell we're not that old. We still got some fight left in us. In my younger years. Oh goodness. Oh, just got a couple more questions here for you.
Oh yeah.
Going on to the next question. How do you connect with fans who resonate with your music? Is there a particular message you're hoping to convey?
Oh yes. So that's a relatively easy one for me. I just have to find the way to word it. Sometimes is so for me, it's all about making sure that people are seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that like inside the song lyrics themselves, like I'm not necessarily explicitly saying that, but what I'm hoping for is that sharing, more vulnerable messages through lyrics and songs
Mm-hmm.
will help somebody who's maybe going through the same thing or, has gone through the same thing, just, feel kind of less alone in the world.
Yeah. And I appreciate the artists who show that vulnerability because, it's we all are going through the messy experience of life. So
Yeah.
to have an artist that connects and, also show that, hey, it's not all glamour, with the music scene. It's not all glamour over here just because I'm in music. And this is the
Right.
vulnerability that I feel is to me is powerful. And that sends a very powerful message to fans who definitely want to connect with artists that way. Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like some artists, not going to name them, are losing that connection with fans, and it's important
Right.
because the fans are, you know, support the music before the big venues and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that you're willing to be that vulnerable to connect with your fans. I think that's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I've always found important, and I always find that, like, it. I I guess like I can't remember a time when it's been difficult for me to open up. I'm sure it existed. Like I know it existed. Um, but I think it's become easier because I know that I have better connections too
Mm-hmm.
when I'm more open and vulnerable and just build better friendships. So, you know, being able to put that out in the world too is really nice and also just kind of, show people that like yeah, you can talk about these things. You don't have to hide behind
Absolutely.
whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely. Amen. Say it louder for the people in the back. You are allowed to talk about these things. It is okay.
Yeah.
This is how connection happens when we talk about things that are difficult to talk about. This is how change happens,
Yes, yeah.
with talking about it. So, yes, I agree with Elle 100%. Yeah. Going on to the next question. Just got two more for you. Going on to the next one. How do you handle criticism or negative feedback when it comes to maybe some of the songs or music, or have you experienced that yet? How do you deal with that?
I haven't really experienced it yet,
Oh,
and
good.
yeah, I mean, yeah, to the earlier point, yeah, I was mostly talking about when I was growing up, but I am in my early 40s, and so I'm not coming into the industry at 20. And one thing I'm kind of grateful for though is that I am having the time and some knowledge and life experience to think of these things and to not just be kind of thrown into the deep end of like, okay, here's all this negativity being thrown at you and, trolls and all this. And it's like, it's not a reality I'm looking forward to. Um, but it is something that I'm able to put some thought and to a degree preparation into to try to prepare myself mentally.
Mhm.
I don't think it's like you're ever going to be like fully prepared, but um, I mean, one thing I work on in life offline is kind of being okay with if I'm out and about and somebody for whatever reason just decides they don't like me. So that's like I think like the most correlation I have to like
Mhm.
getting negative comments is just kind of working on being more okay with that. So I think that sort of attitude will serve me well. When inevitably at some point you become well known enough that it happens. You're visible enough online, and people have bad days and they say not so nice stuff. So
Right, right. And you're right about that. They don't. I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of unfortunately the power that social media has. You can say
yeah,
just about whatever you want to a person that you would never say to in real life.
right, right.
But yeah, it is. I think you're right. I don't think I think as you progress and get more and more successful with your music, it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that you'll be able to kind of get used to because it's like, you know, I always was taught, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Right.
So I that's how I was raised. I know that's probably a little bit old school, but I just kind of get like just flabbergasted with some of the things that I see people put online. It's like, wow,
Yeah,
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 yeah, for sure. It's like, oh my goodness, some of you guys forgot the golden rule.
yeah.
My goodness. All right, Elle, coming up to the last question for you. What's one thing you're still working on as an artist, and how can fans support you?
Oh gosh. In general, I would say just for like fan support is just always I so something that always like hits really nicely for me is hearing that somebody did connect with something that I sang or said in a song. That it always feels really great. Outside of that, always commenting, following makes a big difference, especially to early growth. Um, I don't think that they're like I, there's so many things I'm working on, I guess
Mhm.
is, like there's not just one. And like once I work on that thing, it's like there's going to be another. So like skill wise, I'm always looking to still improve more vocally because I don't think you're ever really done. I think sometimes I focus on other areas or other things and then I come back and I'm like, okay, now we're going to tackle this. Like I started looking up videos on whistle tone because I'm like, all right, like I feel like it's all of a sudden like I'm hearing more people do it than used to, and I'm like, okay, I gotta up my game and figure this out.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like, that's something I'm working on. That and this is why I say like in terms of like fan encouragement and engagement, I think just the following and commenting and all the connecting is really the biggest thing because I'm like unless anyone has like a killer vocal coach who knows how to do whistle tone and they have a recommendation, then by all means, I'm open to recommendations. I'm trying to learn a little bit of production just so I kind of understand it better, um, and can at least put a little bit together myself, before maybe handing it off to somebody else. I definitely don't want to do like I still doing the day job, still doing all that stuff. So there's limited hours. So
Yes.
I'm happy to have somebody else help me produce. But I do want to have some better understanding of that. So that's something I'm working on learning kind of haphazardly a little bit here and there as I can, opening that up in my spare time. And yeah, there's other things I want to learn in the future too, but I guess those are kind of my current ones.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I'm especially when it comes to the post production. When it comes to the
Yeah.
post production editing, I'm clueless. I have no idea about that, but doesn't mean I don't
Yeah.
want to still learn and
Right, right.
still have a grasp because you just never know.
Yeah.
There might be one day that part might fall on me. I want to know,
Yeah.
how to navigate it and not be so afraid to tackle it. So that I completely understand. And
Hmm.
you are right. Uh, Fan engagement, liking, reposting, commenting, streaming, it works more than what fans think it does.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it means more to the artist than what fans think it does because you're
yeah.
getting their music out there. More their music gets out there, more, because anybody's listening on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Executives, everyone's always listening. So the more streams, the better. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think, the
absolutely.
more opportunities and, um, potential to play in more locations and or perform in more locations, so then more people can actually hear it live. So.
Hmm. Yes, because it's important. Getting to the concerts are just important. I
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things are disappearing, like the theater, but I feel like one of the things that
Yeah.
should never, theater should never disappear, and
No.
concerts should never disappear. You cannot replicate the feelings that you get or the experiences that you get going to a concert, seeing your favorite artist live, and hearing your favorite song being played live.
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah.
yeah, it makes a huge impact. It makes a huge impact and makes a huge difference. So you're absolutely right. The more streams, the more opportunity for you to be able to get to these venues so you can reach more fans.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it all plays hand in hand. Absolutely. Absolutely. Elle, I really did appreciate our conversation today. You are a breath of fresh air. You exactly know, you're still navigating, your sound, but you are confident of how you want your music to be and
Mm-hmm.
who you want to be as an artist. And I appreciate you for giving your time and speaking about your passions today.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks for
Yes,
having me.
absolutely. Of course, and I highly want to encourage my audience, make sure you follow Elle Indigo on social media and streaming platforms as well. We want to see more of her work and music, especially in 2026. So, as we just mentioned, the engagement, follow, like, stream, comment, repost, whatever you can. Do it so we can see more of Elle and her work. So, we want to see her, especially here in Seattle. So, Seattle people, I know you love the music, especially a good R&B indie singer. Come on now, let's show some support, let's show some love, okay? Let's get it out there. And I really want to thank everyone for listening. And of course, you guys know I have been your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson. I will be back with another great episode here soon. Until then, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank my incredible guest, Elle Indigo, as one more time. And I will be back with another great episode. Till then, bye.